afternoon, everyone. I just want to check Mary Ann and Wasima, are we recording yet?
Yes, Chair, it's on. Media
Okay.
started the recording.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at the education meeting. Today is actually a bit of a workshop. It is something that we've been trying to do for a while, where we try to look at the resolutions that we've taken in terms of queries that we've sent in to the department, and we see how our resolution rate is, but then we also use the particular time to say, okay, going forward in terms of the items that we want in our program, how many slots do we have open, what would we like to prioritize, and how are we going to really structure the respective program. We're trying to do this a little bit earlier in the year, but unfortunately, due to other urgent and important matters on the parliamentary program, we're only doing it now. But my hope is essentially with this type of workshop is that we do maybe one once a year, and that as a committee we can then say, okay, these are our 5 strategic themes, or these are our 3 strategic themes. So this is what we would like to prioritize on the program instead of just focusing on ad hoc matters. Today specifically, we're going to be looking at the rest of our program for the 2023-2024 financial year. And then we also have 3 reports for adoption, since it's an administrative meeting anyway. So the first one is the oversight visit to Springdale Primary School and Summerdale High School, the Kales River Technical High School and North Pine Technical High School oversight visit, as well as the Stellenzicht Secondary School, followed by actions or recommendations. Colleagues, I'm going to open up just for you to introduce yourselves, and then we're going to jump straight into the content. And Ms. Hassan Musa will assist us by putting up the respective documentation so that we can discuss our program going forward. Thank you. My name is Deirdre Bartman, Chair of the committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. Christopher Fry, member of this committee.
Member side, you must unmute.
Good afternoon, Dan Plato. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Am I on mute or unmute? Whatever.
Now you're unmuted. We were thinking that maybe you're baking scones in the background.
Am I now unmuted?
You are unmuted now, yes.
Oh, so I was on mute all the time.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thankfully. I was talking very serious issues while I was on mute. Member Khalid Sayed, member of the committee.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Ms. Hassan Musa?
Thank you, Chair. I've received an apology from Member Christians. He's abroad and has tendered his apology.
No problem. Thank you so much. Ms. Hassan Musa, are you going to just assist us with documentation or dates that we need to consider, or
Yes.
resolutions that we need to complete?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
I have now shared the business plan of the committee, and then we'll see the outstanding dates for meetings for this year and what is pre-programmed for next year, as well as at the bottom the list of items that still need to be programmed and when we'd like to do it. So I'll hand it over back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I do remember the 3 things that we do need to take into cognizance in our program for the rest of the year is obviously there is the annual report season that members will be going through in different committees. There's the adjustment budget period that members will be going through in different committees. And there's a high likelihood that we might get the billable in the 4th quarter as well. And there's also other legislation currently in the social cluster. So members, I do want us to just take those items into consideration when we do go through our slots that we are able to use. And yes, I would like, my advice to us as a committee would be that we try to focus on our urgent and important matters first. Okay, let's have a look quickly. So our next date, okay, those are all meetings that have already occurred. Okay, so our next slots are in September. So we have 1, 2, 3 slots in September, and it's constituency period. And then the parliamentary program jumps us straight into the adjustment as well as the annual report season. We'll get to the fourth quarter now. Let's just quickly conclude the third quarter. Can we maybe just quickly go to our outstanding? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Perfect. So colleagues, as you can see, there are 5 outstanding briefings and requests in terms of matters that the committee wanted to do. And then there's 1 request from an outside organization. So in the end, those are 6. As you can see, for the third quarter, we only have 3 slots. And I am a little bit cautious in terms of how many slots we may have in the fourth quarter. I do not know, given that the fourth quarter is always a very, very busy budgetary season. So the first one is briefing by Department of Higher Education institutions in Western Cape and WCED on qualifications of ECD practitioners. As committee members will remember, we were going to have that particular briefing, but then Higher Education didn't respond. And then briefing the WCED on learners with severe disabilities and inclusive education to the committee. That has been a request that has been made more than once as well within the committee. Then briefing the WCED on the buttons complaint. I'm not sure if that investigation has been concluded, but that was one of the things the members said at the visit, that once the investigation is concluded, that we receive information on that. Then engagement with municipalities to find common ground and suitable solutions for the challenges mentioned around the costly and complicated process of obtaining a rezoning certificate, which varies amongst different municipalities. And this relates to the red tape in terms of starting and registering an ECD, which the committee has been focused on quite a bit this year, given that ECD came over to the WCED, and oversight to the district officers to engage them on food procurement particularly. And an outside request that we received previously was on EE's report on school safety in the Western Cape. And if I remember correctly, I think that one was postponed just before the late Buerta's passing. And then we postponed that particular one. So members, as you can see, we have 6, but we have 3 slots. So this is where we now have to discuss our urgent and important matters, and I need guidance from the committee as to what we would like to populate our respective slots with, or even if there's matters that you would prefer to get in writing, then we can always say, okay, let's get that in writing and we can populate the rest. I will take hands now. Are there no hands? Can Masima and I just go and populate? Member Fry, I see your hand. You may go ahead. I don't see other hands at the meantime.
Thank you. I would like to propose, Chairperson, that we look at the education district officers and on the challenges experienced by the procurement of food, because I think that food security is quite a big issue, especially in many of our schools, that children only get food when they come to school. So I think that's something that we need to get right. So that's what I would say would be my priority. Thank you.
Okay, so Member Fries indicated his request for priority. Member Syed?
Chair, thank you very much. I agree with Member Fry. I think that's a very important matter, but I also want to indicate that the ECD, the engagement with municipalities to find common ground and suitable solutions for challenges mentioned around the costly and complicated process. I think that's going to be important, but I would add that the WCED must be there as well, you know, because obviously they've been part of the process with us in terms of, so that would be my priority. And then second, I think let's have closure to the button matter, the WCED and the button complaint. But that shouldn't be a whole, I don't think that requires a lot of time, because it seems like they've concluded the investigation. Yeah, I think that's fine. In terms of the, okay, I see he's got the food. That's okay. And then I think we must somehow find the equal education one, because it's good to hear from outside stakeholders, and school safety has become quite an issue. So we must find a way where we can also bring that in some way. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Ms. Hassan Musa, I just want to check quickly the Button case. Has the investigation concluded? Because perhaps we might be able to get a report in order to see if we can schedule it. I do know because it includes very personal matters, and I don't want to, what's the word in English? You don't want to go against Poppy, essentially. So where the committee might even consider doing that as a closed meeting. Ms. Hassan Musa?
Chair, through you, the last time I spoke with the WCD, that was about 3 weeks ago, they were still busy with it, but I can follow up and then give feedback to the members via email on that matter.
Members, are we happy with that Ms. Hassan Musa checks up on that first before we schedule that? And
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that fine? And are members happy that when we do that eventually, that we do that as a closed meeting, given that includes lots of personal information of persons that are not in this committee? Members happy?
Happy
Member
Chair.
Syed? Member Syed?
No, Chair, look, I think let's do this thing step by step. I think let's first see what comes from what Ms. Hassan Musa gets in terms of what's the conclusive investigation. And then we can look at the aspect of whether private or closed or open. I think let's first see what we are working with. That's what I want to propose.
No problem. And there might even be a possibility that once we get the information, it might have been resolved.
Exactly. We don't even need to have the meeting. You know?
Exactly. Okay. So Ms. Hassan Musa, for that particular one, we're going to then request the information on how far that is. And then the committee will make a decision going forward once we have that information. Ms. Hassan Musa? Okay. I just want to check quickly, didn't we already have a briefing for severe disabilities and inclusive education? I know that special needs is called inclusive education. We did have some sort of a session on that. Ms. Hassan Musa?
Chair, through you, this was a request by member Plato during our initial briefing on learners with disability and inclusive education. Because they didn't latch on to the severe disability part of inclusive education, and he made a reference to that at the end of that meeting.
Okay, perfect. Miss Member Plato, so do you want us then to try and schedule that one as well with the severe disabilities? Okay, I'm going to go on then so long. For me, something that I also do consider as quite important is the ECD practitioner qualifications. And that links quite closely to the ECD theme that we've been exploring this year. Given that ECDs are coming over, and one of the things that we've really been picking up on the ground is that not all parents are really seeing early childhood development as an educational program, but sometimes they see it as an aftercare almost. And that is impacting on whether or not a parent is deciding to actually send their child to ECD. So I do think that in that context of the purpose of ECD and getting children school ready, that it is quite important for us to engage on the qualifications of ECD practitioners. How do members feel?
That's fine, Marichi.
Okay, so essentially we've then said everything so far we would like to keep, except that we would like the button complaint just to be sent to us in writing first to find out what the progress is, and the committee will then take a respective decision. We could even perhaps pair the respective ECD matters together in a session. And if it's too long, we can maybe try and ask program if we can maybe have a little bit of a longer session maybe. And we could pair the safety and the severe disabilities and inclusive education together even in order to try and make sure that we get all of our outstanding matters concluded. And then I think the last one would then be that would be the specific oversight visit on a particular day to then go for the food procurement. Given that would probably take a whole afternoon, I'm not sure whether we'll be able to visit more than one district in an afternoon. Is there any particular district that colleagues would like us to focus on? Okay, Ms. Hassan Musa, just get the list for us or something then. There's only so many district offices.
Yeah, I think that get the list, I would say.
Okay, so we'll come back on that one then. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Then I've asked Ms. Hassan Musa, yes?
Chair, can, through you, members just identify what would be the first meeting for September, for the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th. I may populate it accordingly. You have indicated to plot two of them together so that we can have everything finalized. But preferably, what would be first for the 12th of September, please?
Okay, colleagues, guidance on this? Or would you like me to make a proposal? Okay, if there's no specific request then, Member Fry, you may go
No, I
ahead.
was going to say that I would be happy with you making the proposal, Chair.
Okay, I would then propose maybe putting the two ECD ones first, and then maybe pairing safety and inclusive education and disabilities together with the next one, and then maybe concluding with the oversight visit. Would members be okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, Member Fry is happy. Member Plato, Member Syed?
I'm happy. Member Fry is happy. Then I'm happy.
Perfect. Okay, so then, colleagues, thank you so much for assisting, because then as a committee, we would have then dealt with all of our outstanding matters. I've also asked Ms. Hassan Musa just to get us our resolution register in terms of the queries you sent into WCED. You will see in your emails that you got the full list, which is not for distribution, please, because it contains personal details. But Ms. Hassan Musa has made one without personal details in, so that we can quickly look at it online in the committee as a whole. So we can just slide that, please. Perfect. So colleagues, as you can see, this register that Ms. Hassan Musa has been keeping regarding requests that has come through the committee is since 2021. You will see in the status block whether it is resolved or not. Ms. Hassan Musa has also checked for us. For example, there's one there. There's 107 queries that has come through us. And there's only, Ms. Hassan Musa, is 11 that is still open.
Yes, Chair, there's 11 that's open. So approximately 89% has been resolved, or the WCED is in contact with those parents in trying to resolve it, or have made contact with them.
11 divided by 107, 10.28%. Okay, 10.28 minus 100. Congratulations, members. We have a 89.72% in terms of our resolution rate of matters that has come through the committee. And I think you can actually give yourselves a congratulations, because it means that actually the education committee works. It means that things that come through us, it goes to the department, we check up on it. Is it resolved? Is it not resolved yet? And Ms. Hassan Musa has also previously indicated to me that the WCED is still continuing to make sure that the rest of our matters that we've sent to them do become resolved. Colleagues, any questions on this? You do have the one that is more detailed in your inboxes. This one is just so that we are in compliance with POPI. Member Kama.
Good afternoon, Chair and members, and apologies for being late. Chair, no, I wanted to check because I don't know whether my reading of the document is in line, because I wanted to check because the date that is written on the right-hand side, I wanted to check, is that a date that we as the committee have raised the issue of the department? But if that's the case, I would request that maybe
What about
perhaps moving forward, we need to
I sorted mine out.
we need to look at the at having also a date this person had applied, you know, in terms of the system, so that as we do our oversight as members, we are able to see if are there challenges with the system that can be improved. Thanks, Chair. I hope I make sense.
No problem. I understand. Well, at least I think I understand. So the date that you will see in Block E is the date that we sent it through to WCED. So if Deirdre received a complaint, or member Syed received a complaint, and they were like, Ms. Hassan Musa, please assist. And then Ms. Hassan Musa's like, okay, cool, I'm sending this through to WCED now. So that's the date that it came through the committee. So that's not the date necessarily that the matter started. As you may know, we won't always know when a matter has started previously, but we can hold ourselves accountable for when we send things through and when they are resolved. I'm not sure if we can put in another column, but perhaps even, let me just have a look quickly. I do think that the one that's more detailed in our inboxes have a little bit of more information on the particulars. But what we could do, Member Kama, is we could always ask the department if something's longer than a certain period that it takes them to resolve, maybe to then put it into the further comments or something like that. I don't know. Perhaps you have something else that you would like to propose, then how we can to try and assist you with that particular resolution.
Yes, Chair. You know, the interest, Chair, is that because, you know, when we ask the department about some of these unplaced learners, one of the responses you get is that some of these people had applied late, you know, who are not yet placed and all of that. But when we are on the streets, we would be in contact with many people in the province who would say, I applied on time, but I have not yet received placement. So that's why I'm saying it would assist us in doing our oversight if in the document we are able to get, whether we get that from the department, that a particular person who has been raised and the matter has been resolved, but we can also be given when did this person make the first application in terms of the system, so that we are able to check if there is a problem with the system itself that can be improved moving forward.
Okay. I understand. I see. For example, you want us to write application was during the first round of applications, or it was a late application, or it was an extreme late application.
Definitely, Chair.
Okay, I think we can do that. For example, one of the queries that I sent in to Ms. Hassan Musa dealt actually with a learner that their parents were convinced that they haven't been placed yet and kept saying that they weren't in place. But actually, when we got the documentation back, the WCED actually had multiple emails to the person and tried to phone the person also multiple times because they already tried to place someone. So it does become sometimes difficult when the person isn't able to get a hold of the respective parent as well. But I think we can ask when we do the register, or an updated register maybe for next time, that they also include then, is it within the first block of applications? Is it a late application? Was an extreme late application? Ms. Hassan Musa, are we able to find out whether that would be possible?
Chair, where the information, sorry, through you, Chair, where the information is available, I will be able to, but this is information that either comes with the CMIS that we don't have access to, and it's forwarded to the department to make contact. So where the information is in the email, I'm able to, but where it is not and it's confidential, that is opened up by the department for them to circulate through. All I check is whether they've resolved, made contact with the parents and learners, and they are in discussion and whether it's resolved. But in future, we can check whether when was it resolved and the reasons for the unplacement.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Member Kama, will that assist?
Yes, thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much. Colleagues, okay, then we're done with this particular part then. I would also like to suggest, actually, because we don't have a register regarding our general resolutions in terms of, like, for example, the things we've seen on oversight. We do the report gets published, it gets sent to the departments, it gets sent to stakeholders, but we don't often come back to some of those resolutions. So my request to the committee would be, is it possible for us to make a resolution list on the recommendations that we've made in, like, oversights and so on, so that we can also keep ourselves accountable to check that, okay, what we have asked, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? If it's not going to happen, why is it not going to happen? How do members feel about that? Ms. Hassan Musa? Or
Chair,
Member
through
Hassan
you.
Musa?
I can circulate the tracking document to all the members of all the resolutions that have been taken from the beginning of this financial year. And then next to it, we'll have a comment of whether we've received it, what the department has done with it. And then members, I will circulate that. I'll update it and circulate it to members within the week. And they can see from there. Would that be suffice with your recommendation?
I'm happy with that. Members, are you happy with that particular recommendation?
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Ms. Hassan Musa, is there anything else? Let me just quickly see. Are we going over to the reports now?
Yes, Chair.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the first report then on the Springdale Primary and Summerdale School oversight visit that we did. Okay, can just make it a little bit bigger, please. Thank you so much. Okay, colleagues can check their attendance. Okay, can go ahead. Rest of the first page. There are no edits, second page.
Mm.
Okay. I just want to check the enrollment has a little red squiggle underneath it, but I'm not sure if maybe it might be a USA versus UK version of the word. Okay, thank you. Page 3. Okay, if there are no edits, we can go down. Page 4. Perfect. Colleagues, are there any edits to the document that you would like us to make?
That sounds perfect.
Okay, if none, if we get a mover for the report, please.
Dan Plato.
Thank you so much. If I could get a seconder for the report.
Member Fry?
Thank you so much. The report is thus adopted. Then we will move over to the oversight visit we did to Kells River Technical School and North Pine Technical School. Okay. Can we just make it a little bit bigger, please? There we go. Just check. Just remember Brinka's surname. We need to write B-R-I-N-K. Perfect. Thank you. Go down. I think enrollment actually has the ability to be spelled either way, but I think let's just do it with the one L, yes. I don't know, I might be wrong here. Okay, page 2. Okay, okay, not yet done. Okay, page 3. Okay, page 4. Do members have any edits? If none, if I could have a mover for the report, please.
I move, Chairperson.
Thank you so much. If I could have a seconder for the report.
For a second, Chairperson.
Thank you so much. And then I think we have one report left. Okay. You can just take your email down, Ms. Hassan Musa. Otherwise, we can see the ESS. Okay, is that in zicht? I think Microsoft Word keeps changing Member Brinke's surname, so you can just change that back quickly. Thank you. Okay. Page 1. Page 2. Okay, are there any edits, members? If none, if I could have a mover for the report. Thank you, member. I think that was member Plato. If I could have a seconder for the report.
A second.
Thank you so much. The report is thus adopted. Let me just have a look here. Ms. Hassan Musa, did I cover everything now?
Yes, Chair, everything has been covered on the priorities and the program. You just need to also take cognizance about the ballot bill that we're still waiting for from National. That's it.
Yes, and Ms. Hassan Musa has also sent us the feedback for Zwelithemba High School. And because they're just busy with the transition process, they've just asked us for time that they conclude their process before we do a visit to the school. I think, yes, you sent that to all of us. Thank you. Okay, members, we're at the end of our meeting. All that is left is actions and recommendations, but we have also filled up all of our slots for this quarter. So I'm not sure if there's anything else in particular you would like us to look at. Okay, so what I'll then do is once the programming authority comes out with the draft fourth quarter, we will then bring our dates back to the committee to see where we can slot urgent and important matters in. But as we've said previously, we will be taking cognizance of the billable, of the adjustment period, as well as the annual report season. Is there anything else, members?
Nothing from my side.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, colleagues, for this engagement. I think it was quite fruitful. And I think it would be nice to have this perhaps twice a year at the very least, just so that we are able to keep track of the strategic matters that we are dealing with in committees. But with that, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary? Candice, can you take us off on YouTube? Mary, don't leave.
Sure, I will do that.
I want to speak to Mary quickly.
Okay,
I'm off YouTube.
give me 5 seconds.
Mary,